Hi, let's go over 3 mistakes women make that prevents them from shedding weight and what you can do about it. Featuring the Shape Reclaim program. Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Hecker, owner of Enlightened Functional Medicine. So I've been right where you have been. And I've been there. I've been a mom. I am a mom, and I've been through some crazy times. With my young son getting into a whole slew of Nutella and then being pregnant, 2 kids in a row, it is pretty tough. I've been where you've been. So I was walking down a road that I was really pretty embarrassed to be on with my self-image as a functional medicine healthcare provider. I have a wonderful family, but I wanted to do something about it. So I researched, I studied, I dove deep into the physiology, the biochemistry, the behavioral science, everything related to this. And I custom crafted an approach that worked for me. I conquered the battle of feeling like a failure, and I was ready to share my story with others who were in the exact same spot as I was. So if I can take control back of my life, as you can see here in the pictures, anyone can. My passion skyrocketed to helping people restore their body's innate healing potential. In 10 years of clinical experience and 5 years of medical school, paired with my own personal experience, it really set me up to understand the real and raw struggles that people go through, just like you. So I understand how much those emotional struggles really can affect us. So in the next few minutes, this is what you're going to discover here with me. The 3 most common mistakes women make when trying to shed weight so you can finally succeed. So we have beginner strategies to make sure you're doing it right. So you can finally have that energy to enjoy your family. For all of you yo-yoing back and forth, kind of been there before, but you've tried every diet in the book, man, we got to address that. It's critical to keep that inflammation off. And understand the physiology rooted in science so you know how to do it long-term. Okay, there's also fallacies with common weight loss mindset, diving into fasting and keto, which are so popular now. So you don't waste efforts on strategies that don't work and waste your time with your unique physiology. So let's look into why failing to strategize your weight loss journey is going to keep you stuck and how to make an organization a priority to it. So I want to introduce you to Jennifer. I have a patient here that I love to bring this story in. Jennifer recently turned 45. She had extra pooches in places that she's never had before. She's a busy mom of 4. She's taking lunches to kids or making them lunches, taking them to places. Man, who's been there? Going through drive-thrus, it's just time, right? Time is hard to deal with when you're a busy mom. So she's not effectively time managing her body and her lifestyle and meal planning and eating unplanned meals with this. What Jennifer didn't realize is that she needed to plan. She needed to pack. If she's going on trips, she needs to make sure things are going to the hotel rooms, even through this pandemic and weird times. She needed to make sure that she was going to plan and strategize it. So what she didn't realize is that forming specific concrete plans really increases follow through across a range of domains, not just within self-help, weight loss, reducing inflammation in the body. Harvard Business School proves this. Making concrete plans help people follow through with their intentions. This is like kind of common sense stuff that we hear, but it's actually rooted in science. It's proven in the medical journals. Productivity increases over time when you plan. If you don't plan your day, how productive are you really going to be? You're going to get side distracted. If you've ever been on that social media, scrolling, you might find that you're off in so many different directions if you're not geared and you're not focused on what you're doing. Productivity planners are super popular with executives and entrepreneurs. You might see them really pop up in some of social media sponsored ads. I see them quite a bit in there, but they're legit, they're real. We need to be planning. So how she succeeded is that she started implementing secrets that I shared with her in some of my modules in my plan. She interviewed and she watched the interviews with some of St. Louis's top chefs, like Ashley Nanny, who was the author of the Shape Reclaimed cookbook that we have. She networked with other like-minded moms and individuals going on. She downloaded my strategic meal planning worksheet and she worked off of it. She planned and she got results with this. So these are her own words here. I started this program to lose weight. The meal planning is something my family and I had talked about for a while, and now it's part of our routine every week. See that? I fix enough that we usually have 2 or 3 meals from one meal, and the recipes are great. Highly recommend. In 7 weeks, I have lost 18 pounds and my tight jeans fit now. Love the program, Dr. Emily. So this is Jennifer. It worked for her. Item number 2. Here's the second one. Blame it on the wrong hormones. Be armed with the knowledge about the science of fat loss. If you're trying to lose fat, what hormone should you be really paying attention to? So meet Rachel. I have Rachel here. She's another one of my patients. She was afraid age was catching up with her as she was gracefully aging. Her friends were talking to her about what she needed, right? Giving them their advice that she needs thyroids checked. She needs thyroid meds. Maybe she needs some hormone replacement, some pellets, some creams. Maybe she's dealing with adrenal fatigue. Maybe you've heard these before. And she was confused, frustrated, fatigued, and fat, really trying to figure this out. So she had a higher risk for diabetes. That's what Rachel did when she came into me. And it's interesting because over the past 50 years, there's been a sharp increase of people with diabetes. 28 million people are increasing in diabetes. Calorie intake has gone up. Hormonal dysregulation from the body losing weight really affects it with diabetes. So there's some interesting stuff that we need to be paying attention to hormonally wise, and not just like the stuff that we just talked about in that previous slide. So we got to look at what's going on with the blood sugar. So Rachel learned about glycemic control within my program. She was understanding how insulin actually worked and how it's released from the pancreas. Glucose tightly is regulated within a range of 80 to 105 within the blood. And we need to make sure that we're in those ranges. So insulin and glucose together move as a pair into the cell to open up the gates to let energy in. But when it can't get into that cell to give it energy, it's blocked. And something called insulin resistance is happening. And this is a precursor to diabetes. So the goal of fat loss, when you're trying to look into this, is you really want to decrease insulin and glucose all at once. We don't want to increase it. We want to decrease it. We want to be wise, and we want to make sure that those things are effective at getting the energy into our bodies and not overwhelming it. If we have too much glucose, too much insulin going on, it'll overwhelm the cells. Things will not get in, and they'll go store themselves in fat. We need to be mindful about what basic hormones are actually controlling our body, especially when it comes to fat loss. With this, so she needed to reduce her insulin. Too many bad carbohydrates leads to pathologically high insulin levels, which leads to obesity. So kind of following that track back, we need to look at what we're putting in our bodies. Yeah, carbs are people see results with low carb diets, right? But it's the bad carbs that we need to reduce. How do you lose fat? The less carbs you have, the lower insulin levels you have, the loss of excess fat. And here's an insulin level decrease with a low carb diet taken from this is taken from the research, taken from the medical journals. It shows that the control group, it does have a higher insulin level. The low carb group has a lower insulin level with that we see. We want those levels to decrease. So she chose how she wants to be energized. Does she want to use glucose for energy and consume it like an outside source like sugar, or even like bananas, even like good fruits can really be, when you break it down, you're looking at glucose. So glucose stored away for later is also another source of energy. It's like an auxiliary tank. I explained to my kids, you know, when you're looking at airplanes, there's auxiliary tanks or storages for extra fuel. And that's what fat is on our body. It's extra fuel that we can use and tap into to burn. So this is how Rachel succeeded. So her blood work analysis of her hormones before and after, this is so neat, proved that blood sugar dysregulation was the primary place to start. Her starting insulin, as you can see on the right-hand side, was pretty high. It was 20 before starting with me. Then after, bam, it's back into 8. Okay, below eight is ideal, but she's right at that cusp. She's right at that border of seeing a big decrease in that. She lost 18 pounds. So yay for weight loss, but let's look at the hormones, right? We're looking at the hormones. So testosterone was a little high outside for her. They came down after the program. Functional medicine breathes science into helping people really find the symptoms to go away. Look at her DHEA. That was super high before. It's down into normal range. Her weight decreased. Did she take hormone replacement for this? Nope. She got her insulin under control. Right. So sometimes we need to look at the big picture with this. So this is in Rachel's own words here. Her my Dr. Emily's Get in Shape program. I just needed to get back on track with my health. I enjoyed the structured program that helped me walk through this because I don't know if I could have done this by myself. She's passionate about helping helping others, and it truly shows. So thank you, Rachel. It works for her. So that's good. So that's the second one. Let's go on to the third reason that we're looking at. So exercise for overall and mental health, not for weight loss, not for fat loss. So we got to make, it's a totally different concept. I think we think that we have to exercise our fat away. And now we're learning that it's not necessarily, exercise is helpful. It is healthful. And it's important for us. And I'm going to show you some reasons why. So knowing how exercise impacts your fat loss and gut health is really key to looking at exercise. It's super important. So meet Stacy. She came to me, another patient. She was addicted to working out. She had a personal trainer. It was encouraging her to high carb load before lifting weights and cardio. Standard stuff that you hear, back in the day. And some personal trainers are still encouraging this. But she was more bloated, right? She couldn't lose weight. She was more bloated. Super high stress at work, dealing with the loss of her brother. So it was through COVID that she lost her brother. And, just lots of emotional stress, but also trying to get into that super high exercise state. Oh, I'm going to exercise my fat off, right? With this, she was chasing the wrong solution for fat loss when she was doing this. She was at the gym, which I don't discourage you from going to a gym by any means. Make sure you check with your doctor on that, your personal doctor. But what she didn't realize that she was actually harming herself because her intensity level of exercising was too much. This is showing the Journal from Applied Physiology in PubMed research is showing that running for 90 minutes at a challenging pace causes small intestinal damage and increases intestinal permeability. Guys, intestinal permeability is leaky gut. That's things slipping through that should not get slipped through when we exercise at a super high rate. So looking at the bar down here, gluten loading and overexercising leads to intestinal permeability. Intestinal permeability is leaky gut, if you've heard of that, which leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to no fat loss. Okay, so inflammation has a direct impact on the body by not releasing excess weight. We need to look at the inflammatory reasons for what's going on in your body. So she didn't realize that with this. Here's corrosive effects of chronic inflammation. You can see it in the picture. I love pictures and colors. That's how I love to teach and express myself with patients. So here we see the lining of the digestive tract in this picture here. There's large peptides, which are proteins, things that sneak through the tight junctions of the lining of the digestive tract. On the right side, you're seeing things slip through. On the left side of the picture, they're nice and tightly packed. Ideally, on the left is what we want it to be. Realistically, on the right is probably a lot of what we're dealing with. The immune system goes on high alert and releases certain things called prostaglandins once things seep through into the lining of the gut, into the bloodstream. It activates things. It causes inflammation. It causes tissue damage. This is where you're going to feel the joint pain, the bloating, the brain fog, the fatigues, aches, depression. There's so much that goes on here because we have things slipping through. And this can be induced by many things, but overexercising is one of them. We need to dial down that inflammation. We need to rebuild that. So she did some functional testing with me as a functional medicine provider. We looked at what she was consuming as far as the wheat score. Remember, she was carb loading. She was eating lots of pasta to get the energy that she needed to work out. Well, we did this test and we saw that her wheat score, her sensitivity to wheat was off the charts. Her immune system was launching a response to it. We tested it and we can see that she has intestinal permeability due to consuming too much wheat. There's more data to this, but this is the simplified summary view of this. It's confirming, yep, she's got to cut the gluten, right? So her approach with me to restoring and healing her tissue was to remove those inflammatory foods, stop over exercising, over-exercising is the key there. We needed a rest. She needed to fast. She needed to rebuild her hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis back up. That's stress. She was dealing with that. She needed repair. She needed to bring in the right nutrients to repair her intestinal permeability. And this is where I use FullScript, which is an online way of ordering products to help facilitate the healing. It's like a physician's Amazon account of good products to help rebuild the body. She did this. In her own words, this is what she says: I was working out way too much. My trainer was telling me to eat carbs, but my weight wasn't moving and I was still bloated. It wasn't until I fully understand that nutrition came first. I had leaky gut. My inflammation was causing a stall in my health. Then my fat started melting away and I was left with lean muscle underneath. I feel so sexy. She says this program works. She got some good results with it. So who would like to upgrade their health like Jennifer, Rachel, and Stacy? Different ways of approaching it as you're learning here. So finally overcoming that unwanted fat and living without fear, embarrassment, and guilt. I've been there. I get it. So if you're ready to conquer that unwanted fat, you can always figure this out on your own like I did, but it would take you years and thousands of dollars at that. You can do this without accountability or knowing the science of fasting and keto to back you up, or you can continue to just doing what you're doing that's not really working. The reason why you're probably watching this, right? Or you can do what they did and start working with an expert. I'm able to give you a different approach to weight loss using lots of tools for success. Okay, you need to decide this. This is up to you. How I help with patients and how we help it enlighten with patients is with shedding the right weight using a program called my Get in Shape program. Okay, this is 10 weeks of a specific goal-oriented program here. I use the Shape Reclaim program. I divide it out, I break it up, and I make it into bite-sized pieces that are manageable for you. It's a 4-phase program. This is how I outline it. So you can see the first phase is a prep and low carb phase. You do this for 1 week. Then you move into the fasting approach. Okay, this is a fast track phase. We do this for 4 weeks. You're going to be covering certain things like fasting, keto, mental health, immune health within these 4 weeks. Then we move on to the refeeding phase. We need to stabilize our brain. We need to stabilize our body. We add back in certain foods. We cover more modules like meal planning, exercise, and mindfulness. And then we move on into prepare you to getting out of this detox 10 weeks and into the live of it, utilizing and implementing things that you've learned along the way to make you successful. So there's 2 modules here, which is intuitive and emotional eating. Who doesn't deal with emotional eating? Who doesn't deal with and need to take on more intuitive eating, listening to your body with this? So each phase has custom modules that you can go through at your own pace on the weekends with this. So there's science-rich weekly module topics. We talked about these a little bit here. Here's a list again of how they're broken down with all of these different things they've broken down. I really want to educate you on those pieces. You also get a one-on-one 30-minute onboarding appointment with me. I want to get to know you so I can make sure that this is a good fit for you. This program is, and this is what the Shape Reclaim and Get in Shape program does. I want to make sure that you're connecting with me for 30 minutes initially to get started. I have in the group session of this, man, group accountability is huge. So that's one of the things that patients loved when they worked this with me. There's 10 virtual group visits during the 10-week program with my health coach, Amy Welker. They're lunchtime visits, so you can pop on during lunchtime. I have it during 11 to 11:45 Central Standard Time. Pop on when you're able. If you're having your lunch, get it. If you're working or if you're not, I hope that you can make this lunchtime work and prioritize it for you. You also get a check-in, a urinalysis. There's data that you send to me so I can look at to make sure that you are getting the best results at this program. Here's an example of a urinalysis strip on the right side here. You do it at your own house. It's easy to do. And you put it on the middle part of this, and I'm able to tell you what we may need to change based on some diagnostic criteria that your urine is showing me. You upload it in the program that you work with. There's a private chat group involved in this too. And this is when you're able to get in and support others. This is the accountability piece. This is connecting with others. So I have a Get in Shape program chat within the portal as well. There's products to this system as well. The Shape Reclaim program. There's a cookbook, a guidebook to read. There's supplements for success. There's the Shape Reclaim drops, which are included. There is the the mood reclaim drops, which helps support your brain, which is included. GI detox and electrolytes are optional. We'll go over more on these within the program. And you're going to get more things like a measuring tape, UA strips, the sea salt, which is so key for keeping that balance within our minerals in here. These things are included. You're also going to get high quality downloadable PDFs. I made these. These are important because you need to make sure that you're getting everything you can. Make a binder, print these out, and make sure that you're doing all of these specific things, meal planning, you're getting to the emotional state, you're tracking your food. So this 10-week group program using Shape Reclaimed is going to incorporate all of these things, the modules, the onboarding appointment, the group visits, the weekend check-ins, the recipes and cookbook with this, the private community, downloadables, the guidebook, supplements, and bonus tools. This is everything you need for a 10-week reset for you. There's a 10-week calendar that goes on with this, so you kind of know what goes on. On the weekends, you're going to watch your modules. You haven't do it on your time. You're also on the weekends going to take a picture of your urinalysis and submit it digitally. And then on Mondays, certain things go on. So it's going to hold you accountable through those weekends because those weekends are tough. They really are when you're exposed to different things and socialization and different things with kids and games. And there's more things that you can choose from on the weekends. So we need to hold you accountable on those weekends. Mondays are your group visits that you can pop in and make sure you're held accountable, share your story, tell how your week went, tell your wins, go through your challenges, work through it with people. Those are huge. I also will look at your UA strips that you've done over the weekend and get back to you on Monday. So Monday is a key day, right? So why is this different? Why is this program different? It's a one-of-a-kind program. Really, it's not found. It's a doctor supervised program that you can do at your own time, in your pace. That's 10 weeks. It's your pace. At your home. So I use targeted pharmaceutical supplements to correlate the underlying imbalances that are associated with stubborn weight loss too. With those, there's functional testing that's recommended upon an onboarding consult that we'll talk about, that if we need to do that, we can, or you can bring in later after the program as well. This benefits not only yourself, but family, friends will see you as a role model. You will become the role model to your kids, to your spouse, to your friends. They will see you getting results and they're going to ask you what you're doing. And that really is key with this, because you're getting the results for yourself and you're motivating yourself with the help of this program. So what's the investment? Investment's a key word here because it will be saving you copays for future illnesses, future medication prescriptions, future time lost from work because you're sick, right? You got to think of those things. We got to get the investment in you with this. So normally in this program, it's going to cost like $3,500. Yeah, I know, $3,500 based on my normal service fees as a functional medicine provider. Really key in this to work one-on-one. I worked on one-on-one with patients before this years ago during this program, and it was expensive. It adds up when you work one-on-one, but when you can bring it into a group setting, when you can do it online, it can help with finances. It can bring the cost down. And I'm still happy to work with you one-on-one for my normal fee, rate of $300 an hour, which is the going rate in functional medicine, if not higher with the experience level with that. But you know what, let's bypass that. Let's get you to a good, affordable place with this. So I wanted to make it affordable and give you more than what you would get really doing a one-on-one with me. That's why I made it into a group program, to make it affordable and get you results with this. So a total investment of $450, everything that you've seen today for 10 weeks, including the products to get started. Really, you can break it down into payment plans, which is $150 for a month, for I have it every 3 weeks that it can take it out of the credit card that you supply. It'll help you. So you can really make that into installments. If you break it down, it's $650 a day, $643. Can you afford $643 a day? The coffee, if you're running by Starbucks, if you're getting that, if you're swinging by a different fast food place, what does that look? What could you do for 10 weeks with that? If you're interested in this program outside of the group setting, because I do group settings in certain parts of the year, not always ongoing. If you're watching this and you're wanting to learn more about this and to kind of do it on your own, I have different pricing. Reach out to my office and I can get back with you on that too. Okay. So here's the exact next steps. Go to the link and register for the next 10-week program. That's how you can get really into this. So I will email you a welcome email with the following steps with what to do. You'll schedule a 30-minute onboarding session with me. You'll fill out an intake form. We'll connect for that first week. During the first week of what you're doing, we will connect. We will meet each other with a Zoom appointment, and then you're going to start on your journey of your 10-week transformation detox program with you. So is this right for you? You might be asking yourself, is this program right for me? Well, if this describes you, if you're tired of having fluctuating weight patterns, if you want to commit to finding the final solution for weight loss management, if you want to be comfortable in your own skin, maybe you need a structured program to follow to get you back on track. Many of us do. Maybe you need to kickstart your weight loss momentum back into what you can pick up, and that you've found to work for you. Maybe you like to understand the science and the why behind you do things. Well, the why behind why you do things, and the answer is probably yes, that you need that. Okay. Well, what if you decide to pass? Here's Kathy. Kathy. So she's a patient of mine. She started off with a different neurology program, online, virtual, targeting certain things neurologically to help get her brain on balance and the weight loss, but it didn't get her the results she wanted with that. So she decided to work with me and join my Get in Shape group back in 2020. She lost 50 pounds with fasting and implementing the program strategies. You may see her and other graduates of the program pop in on the group visits, offering support and tips. I have some graduates who've learned some things pop in as well, but you can see her before and after transformation. She's amazing. She's wonderful with this. So here's the link to register for the next 10-week program. Click on that link and you'll find that. It was wonderful talking with you today. If you have any questions, reach out to my office, and I look forward to seeing you soon.